What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another dljworks vlog. In this video, I just kind of wanted to talk candidly to you guys about some things that kind of been on my mind. Well, the subject in this video is something I actually been thinking about with web design and development, and that is simplification is hard. Overcomplicating things is easy. When I'm actually engaged in conversation, people usually tell me that I'm long-winded, rant, keep it short and sweet. But really, that whole process of keeping it short and sweet is almost an art form. It's almost an art form. It's something you have to keep down to a science. The actual science part is kind of reflecting back on things that I've said and thinking about I could have said this differently, and that constant correction, that constant process of doing it and correcting it. Okay, if I don't correct it, then I'll continue to stay stuck in this part of just being long-winded, not getting to the point. And it almost annoys me when people tell me to get to the point, because sometimes I'm like, well, I'm trying to get to the point. Maybe I should have took more time out to actually think about what I needed to say. And sometimes when I usually take a long time to think about what I want to say, the opportunity to actually speak about it or mention it to somebody has already been lost, because I've taken too much time to actually think about it and kind of condense the whole point down. So actually getting to the point, which is a process, which is a form of simplifying things, is quite difficult, and I think that's why Steve Jobs, a lot of the times, for making his Apple products, keep it simple. And that whole ability to keep it simple is a difficult one. That's the irony. Simplicity is difficult. That is the irony of the situation. And for you to just spew out, why people sometimes go on long rants, and sometimes those rants are very passionate, but it's very easy to just spew out, and you have a bunch of convoluted ideas just mixed in with some really key things, and people have to kind of like listen, and on their receiving end, they have to take what you're saying and really figure out what is the main idea of this person's conversation, what they're telling me. So if you're talking to a person like me, if I actually sound, refined, if I actually sound very sophisticated and actually in my speech, then it's only because I've talked so much that I've actually done enough talking where I could look back on the conversations I've had with people, things that I've said, maybe in a public speaking situation, wherever the case may be, and thinking about I could have done this better, and really thinking about shortening that down. And what a lot of people don't really understand is that reading and writing is very much so tied to the way that you actually converse with other people. And notice I said converse, not conversate. That's the English major side of me. So anyway, a little humor for a web design development channel where English and technology seem to be enemies according to everybody. But anyway, I digress.
Are you trying to build a custom WordPress website from scratch but don't know where to begin? Get digging into WordPress from that CSS tricks guy Chris Coyer and his partner Jeff Starr. He's made it easy to understand for beginners and pros alike. It's color-coded, well-organized, and designed. So dig deep into WordPress. Check the link in the description.
Reading and writing are equally tied to the way that we talk, because if you're actually reading and seeing how other people are communicating their ideas, conveying a message, it helps you in actually your conversation. Actually, when the process of writing, when you go back, reading over what you wrote, and you cut a lot of stuff out, actually that should carry over, because as you're mentally doing that editing, that revisions, then equally show that I can, well, maybe let me speak for myself, because I know reading and writing for me has helped me in my conversation. And oftentimes I have to do scripts for specific videos. This video in particular, whatever I'm saying right now that I feel like needs to be edited out, just go ahead and do it. But right now, this is just something that I've been actually meditating on for quite some time, which is why it's making it easier for me to actually speak about it without actually having a script done before I've done this video. And let me tie this in to web design and development, because particularly this is specifically a web design and development channel. When you're actually doing web design and development, I know for me myself, I've done so many websites that oftentimes I can actually skip the whole process of wireframing, mock-ups, that sort of thing. And I guess it still kind of depends on the project. If it's a specific type of design I haven't done before, maybe for a real estate website or whatever the case may be, then I have to maybe go back and do a lot of research, do some mock-ups, brainstorm, because I've actually never tackled that before. But if we're just talking about blogs, things for personal brands, that sort of thing, I've done a lot of those websites. I can almost do those in my sleep. I have an idea of what the architecture should look like, the actually formation of it. So it's a very easy thing, but it's only because of repetition and just taking constant action that the simplification process actually becomes much easier and easier. So I've heard Roberto Blake just say, just do the thing just more than once, and just doing it over and over again, you'll get better and better. And equally important, faster and faster. So really, the more conversations that you have, and not just, ranting to people, actually engaging and listening to what they're saying, processing what they're saying, and then becoming quicker at thinking about what you want to say, and then trying to get to the point as much as possible. The only way you're going to get better at that is by having more conversations with people, talking a lot, and actually the whole step of looking back, reflecting on how you're talking, and making those corrections along the way. That's really the only way you're going to be better at being a conversationalist. So, but overcomplicating things, I could do that all day long. Even me being a teacher, a lot of my students may say, like, Mr. Johnson, you're making this harder than what it is. And probably because if I am making it harder than what it is because I haven't actually went back, maybe even done that part of the teaching, or that particular thing that I'm teaching enough is new to me. I'm trying to figure it out myself in order to see what you need to understand, what my students need to understand, and maybe convey that to them, and really trying to help them out. You have to do these things over and over and over again. So same way we're making these YouTube videos, just doing it, just getting on camera and not camera, and just knowing that you're going to have some duds. And the more that you speak on camera, the more that you can look directly in the eye of the camera right there, right there, and be confident. Get out what you need to get out for the whole point of that camera, sticking to the title and the topic of what that video is, and just leaving it there. You're going to be successful at this either way. So just wanted to kind of shoot this video. I figured this was a really good video because when we're talking about simplification, I find it to be quite difficult. But when you want to overcomplicate things, it's easy because you usually don't have to take any thought into overcomplicating anything. All this, mundane information, all this complexity, if you can just present it in its raw form. But if you present it in its raw form, people aren't going to really, understand it. So you have to figure out, you have to take somebody's limited understanding, take this complex thing, and bring their very limited understanding to this understanding this very complex idea. So that's what I really wanted to talk about in this video. Anyway, find this video helpful or insightful, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Love to have a conversation with you about it. Thanks for watching. See y'all in the next video. God bless.
Before you leave, go to the description below, click that show more link to see and use all of the resources that I trust that makes DLJ works and can easily work for you.